Hey guys, Brian here, and welcome to episode 70 of our Liverpool Career Mode series. In today's episode, we have 2 games for you. We're also going to look at the squad report too after the fact. So, some good content for you there, along with a couple of games from our friendlies that we're playing. The first one being against Slovenia here. And yeah, with that said, we're also going to talk a little bit about E3 as well, because that has come and gone. That's pretty much what my focus was on last week. So, obviously, hence the long absence from doing another Liverpool episode, and last episode was a little bit shorter. This one's gonna be a little bit shorter too. We'll be getting back to more of the regular episodes after this, especially with the fact that July and August are gonna be pretty lean months for video games and stuff like that going on. And you know, with that said too, I'm really starting to lean towards probably this being the last season, and the reason for that is I want to have a break. FIFA 13 and FIFA 14. I still want to play FIFA 13 up until the release and the demos for FIFA 14 come out, but at the same time too, I also want to kind of take a break from the career mode and, you know, focus on maybe playing with you guys and doing some online matches and uploading those, maybe doing some season modes, I don't know, race to division, whatever, stuff like that. Not necessarily committing to anything along those lines, but different things that still revolve around playing some FIFA. So that's kind of the future for this, and I'm going to still do the regular pace of getting this out, so we'll probably get to the end of this series by the end of July, or something along those lines, but that, you know, really puts the emphasis on the season as well to be a really strong final season for us too. We've had a great start overall, so hopefully we'll be able to continue that from here. And who knows, even maybe things don't turn out the way I wanted them to at the end of Season 4, we might consider doing a Season 5, but as of right now, I'm kind of focusing on the idea of, you know, switching off and going back, obviously, to FIFA 14, when that comes out in the fall, but taking a little bit of break from FIFA 13 as, you know, it winds down, and the interest is obviously not as much there as it was at the very beginning of all this. With that said too, I want to talk a little bit about E3 and FIFA 14, new sports games, next-gen sports games, and my anticipation for all that coming in the fall. And also on top of that, the fact that I'm going to be going to PAX Prime as well in late August, which will be something really fun for me, but also something that should be interesting for you guys, because I'll be posting content on the channel while I'm there, getting some interviews, and also being able to record some gameplay and check out some stuff like FIFA 14, which will be neat before the fact, because it'll still be about 3 weeks or so before the game actually launches at that point. But yeah, I wanted to kind of reiterate on the fact that my plans for FIFA 14 are going to be very much, you know, focusing on the career mode stuff, because that's what really gets me excited for playing FIFA. But I'm going to be doing 2 different career mode series. One's going to be for FIFA 14 on current gen consoles, and there's going to be another one that's going to be coming out for next gen consoles, because current gen consoles, there's going to be a FIFA coming out in September, and I'm going to want to buy that game day one and, you know, do my content just like I did last year. But when next gen consoles come out, specifically the PS4 for me, I'm going to be buying FIFA 14 once again, and I'm going to be doing another career mode series where I'm actually going to be playing using my PS4 as well. And that's going to be kind of the balance of what type of career modes I'm going to do. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to obviously play FIFA more likely than not later on in the cycle of FIFA 14 on next-gen consoles. So it's going to be kind of like one of those things where I do a PS3 series where I'm playing the game. That's going to be my main focus for about 3 months or so. Then, you know, it's still going to be played out, but I'm going to be focusing more on the FIFA 14 series after that. That's going to be on the PS4. And it's going to be a little bit weird, because obviously that's going to be 2 different games on 2 different consoles. It's going to get a little bit more confusing when I'm doing all that, but I really want to bring next-gen content to this channel, and even, you know, just other stuff on top of that too. I want to obviously focus on the FIFA stuff for that, so I'll make sure that when that does happen, I will be having next-gen FIFA content come on the channel. So I didn't really get to see that much in regards to FIFA 14 at this year's E3. There was a couple demos that looked interesting. They're more focusing on the specifics of actual player interaction, kind of developing on, you know, how we have the actual physics between the 2 players in FIFA 13. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it looks really wonky. And going into FIFA 14, they really look to be focusing on making that better. The main demos I saw were really trying to show off, you know, how this player reacted to another player when he was being tackled, what type of situation arises from that. I'm obviously sure that there is going to be some issues still with the actual contact system, but it looks a lot nicer. The other thing that looks really cool to me too, player models don't, you know, look super high resed compared to FIFA 13, but they do look a lot more crisp, and I think that's something that they're going to get even stronger with going ahead into future FIFAs, FIFA 15, 16, whatever. But the thing that's really cool is that the actual crowds are not, these paper people anymore. They're actual people in the stands, which is crazy when you think about it. There's obviously not going to be 50,000 people in a 50,000, seated stadium. That's going to be crazy. They wouldn't be able to render that. But they're going to make it look as close as possible to really show off that the crowd's there. Look, you can see them. And I don't know, for me, stadium atmosphere, arena atmosphere for, let's say when I'm playing hockey, it doesn't really affect the game, let's say, but it still has a lot of actual purpose for me when I'm playing the game. I want to be immersed when I'm playing my game, and I don't know, the one thing that I really get a little bit down on sometimes is, you work so hard to play your game, play your career mode series, and do the best you can to make it all the way to winning the league title, winning the Champions League, or, in the case of playing an NHL game, you win the Stanley Cup. That's a really hard task to do. You spend hours and hours and hours of your time trying to build up to that. And I want to be immersed in the experience of doing that. I want to be feeling what's going on. Yes, if I really wanted to feel what was going on, I'd be playing, I'd be actually doing it. But from just a fan's perspective, it's fun to have the crowd cheer at the right moments. It's fun to see interactiveness going on within your game. And for me, I like the thing that I don't like a lot with current EA Sports games, they don't put enough emphasis on the actual celebrations when you win said cup. And hopefully they're going to change it. They really haven't talked about that much. But the one thing that kind of ties in to that is the atmosphere of the crowd. And I'm really hoping that, when they're moving into this next-gen format, that they're going to focus a lot more on that, because they're going to have the ability to kind of have the extra memory space to create different instances when they're talking about the actual game. Right now, they're so, crammed of what they can actually possibly do when they're making these games that they can't necessarily do all that. They can't necessarily have the crowd react one way or another. It's a big deal for them to actually, assess that certain type of memory to say, when the player gets injured, the crowd boos or something like that. I'm really hoping that there's going to be a lot more of that. There's a lot more of just overall memory kind of just assess to these certain situations where it can make it a lot more fun. If I'm in the Stanley Cup playoffs playing hockey, I want that crowd to be crazy. I want that to be really riled up, and I want them to cheer louder when there's that big hit. When I'm playing FIFA, I want that big game where, we need to win this game. If we win this game, we're going to win the Champions League, or, we're in the final couple games of the season. These are really important games. I want to see it in the crowd. I want to see the difference really being made there. And when it comes down to all that, we don't really have that right now, but that's something I'm really hoping to see when it comes to next generation sports games. And they're talking about Ignite, the new engine that they're going to be using. I'm sure it's going to have a lot of interesting features to it. This year's FIFA 14, it's going to be really cool to see it on next gen consoles. But if you look back at, let's say, the first FIFA that was on this generation of consoles, and you look at what we have right now, it is miles and miles different. And I don't expect anything drastic at that point. It's going to be a couple of years till we really start to see the differences in actually what these games look like on next-gen consoles, but I'm very excited to see that. And as I said, I'm going to be at PAX Prime in Seattle, so when that does come around, I'm going to be able to definitely spend some good portion of my time there checking out these games, checking out the games that I cover, getting some interviews in regards to them, posting that up, and giving you guys more details on what's this is really going to be for next-gen consoles and next-gen FIFA and NHL. So, with that said, that's the end of the episode. Sorry for not that much commenting. I just wanted to get that off my chest, kind of talk about what's going to be going on there. I'll have another episode up with 3 games in it coming up in the relative near future. Until then, though, guys, here is the standings in the squad report. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the future.
Southampton with 18 points. In 5th, Arsenal with 17 points. In 6th, Manchester United with 17 points. In 7th, Manchester City with 17 points. In 8th, Aston Villa with 16 points. Bottom of the table, Leicester City with no points. And then reading up the table, second bottom, Blackburn Rovers with 2 points. Third bottom, Sunderland with 5 points. Fourth bottom, Wigan Athletic with 6 points. Fifth bottom, Fulham with 6 points.